very morbid today, but this sounds interesting. Mortician shows every step a body goes through at a funeral home.
Hi, I'm Victor M. Sweeney, licensed mortician. We're here at
I've
Corsmo
seen
Funeral
this guy
Service.
before.
Come on in. We've been given unprecedented access to the whole funeral home. We're going to go into the prep room where we embalm and prepare bodies. Normally, if a person from the outside like yourself wanted to go into the prep room, they wouldn't be allowed. We've been given special access today from the Department of Health. And we're going to look at caskets, urns, that kind of stuff. We're going to get to see the funeral chapel, and then we'll also get to take a tour of the hearse, see how that works. With us today is Sean.
Victor,
Thanks for having me here. I really
for being
appreciate
here.
it.
Death can be kind of scary. There's a lot of things about our field that are unknown. I'm excited for you to bring those answers to everyone today.
First, we're going to go inside the prep room. Why don't you come with me and I'll show you what we do.
What does make him want to get into this sort of field?
So here we are in the prep room, the room where we do all the embalming. Embalming is meant to sanitize and preserve bodies, as well as provide some
Wait, what
embalming
did I
is
say? Embalming removes bodily fluids, including blood, to delay
meant
decomposition.
to sanitize and preserve bodies, as well as provide some level of restoration. So for instance, if someone is grievously injured, we can kind of work to reconstruct them, in addition to making sure that their body holds up for
How?
maybe the week that we have in between the time when they die and the time when we have the funeral. In this funeral home, the prep room is off of the garage. I don't want to be bringing cots with bodies on them up or down stairs or through the whole funeral home to get them here, because then we can go right from the van to the room where the magic happens.
Shit, don't say it like that, bro. The magic happens.
We've taken our dummy mic from the back of the van, and now we're ready for the embalming. Every time you prepare a body, you kind of start from zero. So you're going to do inventory, you're going to look them over, you're going to make sure that you know everything about their condition, and then adjust your embalming processes accordingly. In a normal situation, I'm covered from head to toe with personal protective equipment, and that's mainly to keep me safe when I'm dealing with blood and pathogens. I'm also dealing with embalming fluids. So these are things that keep bodies preserved and sanitized, and a lot of these contain aldehydes. These are actually toxic chemicals. Every
Formaldehyde.
prep room is going to have ventilation, it's going to have formaldehyde level monitoring. All these things are in place to keep me safe and to make sure that we don't infect our public spaces with what we have to do here in private. One of the first steps of embalming is setting the features, so making the face into a natural expression. These are called eye caps. Sometimes when people die,
Okay, I've
their
heard of
eyes
those.
are open and we can position the eyelid
Oh, you know what? I'm getting like flashbacks to watching people play mortuary assistant.
and have them stay that way. We use this device called the needle injector that actually punches these sharp brads into the upper and lower jaw, kind of keep it in place. They'll stay that way.
Oh, so don't just hang open.
The next part of embalming, after we set those features, is we're going to do what's called arterial embalming. So we're going to gain access to the arteries, and then that's how we're going to use our embalming machine to pump fluids in. So there are 3 different kinds of fluids that embalmers use when preparing a
Such
body.
whimsical
The first
music.
arterial solutions are going to be fixatives. So they're going to sanitize the body, they're going to preserve it, and they're going to fix it into place. Other fluids are what we call co-injection or accessory fluids. Co-injections might add fluid to tissue. They might draw fluid out. They'll add color. Sometimes maybe a rosiness is helpful. And then we have other fluids that are
Like
really good
a
at preventing
natural look to the skin. I
certain
guess.
types of decomposition. Probably the most common place for a funeral director to gain access to an artery is right up here in the neck, and that is called the carotid artery. Let's say you choose not to raise,
Wait, what he got?
and that is called the carotid
So, like,
artery.
right up here?
Let's say you choose not to raise the carotid artery. You can actually embalm a
Above
whole
the
body
collarbone?
right here from the leg. So the femoral artery is one of the largest arteries that we have access to. If you push fluid up, you can open the corresponding vein, and then the blood will drain out. And arteries are interesting because they're very rubbery. It is one of the largest arteries that we have access to. If you push fluid up, you can open the corresponding vein, and then the blood will drain out. And arteries are interesting because they're very rubbery. Think like a tube rubber band. And so when we put high pressure into them with the embalming machine, they're able to withstand that. The fluid just goes right into the body. So this tank here is the embalming machine, and this tube goes right
Is it
down the
loud
artery,
like in mortuary system?
and then is going to shoot fluid in at a high pressure in order to circulate that fluid through while pushing out the blood that's been pooling in the venous system. So this will actually simulate something of a heartbeat. So if you have large clots that are stuck in a venous system, you can pulse the fluid through.
If clots are not pushed out, then embalming fluids cannot reach parts of the body, which will remain unpreserved and possibly decomposed. Interesting.
At a high pressure and push those clots out of the body, and that'll create better distribution for our fluid and better preservation in the final procedure.
Warning, gross stuff ahead. I'm pretty good with gross
This
stuff.
one's called a tissue spreader. So let's say you have someone with a little extra weight and you need to get into, let's say, the meat of their leg to gain access to their artery. This guy you can put in.
Man, just think about like them doing this with morbidly obese bodies, bruh. Oh, y'all definitely gonna need that tissue spreader.
Like this, and it spreads out all that fat. Any number of handy scissors. A curve is nice sometimes, especially as you're cutting through arteries or maybe other tissue. This is called an aneurysm hook because it's used for separating tissue and hooking the arteries and pulling them out where you have access to them. This is called a groove director.
Wait, they take arteries out? I'm confused. I thought they used it to like pump like fluids in there to preserve the body. I'm confused. Why would they be taking arteries out?
I can hold this, put it into the artery, and then this hard surface on the bottom is going to open up the artery so I can slide my other tools right in. An angular forceps, this you can actually use to pull out clots. This guy is called a drain tube. Typically, this end here is going to be hooked up to another tube that we run down the table, and then this end is going to go inside the artery. One thing that's great about a drain tube is that we can actually control how much blood leaves the body. If we're having drainage issues, you can stop it. Pressure is building in the body, and then all of a sudden, you'll pull the end and whoop, it'll come pouring out the bottom. So you want to create that pressure because sometimes you need a little extra to get into the extremities, like into the toes or the fingers, something like that. Cavity embalming is the second part of preparing a body in which we want to puncture all the hollow organs and then drain out all the goo and nastiness that wants to live in there. So the tool we're going to use to do that is called the trocar. The trocar is a great big steel spear. This tip is going to puncture the organ, and then this part is actually hooked up to a vacuum. So it's going to suck all
Like
that goo right down the drain. And then the holes that we make will actually provide access points for introducing what we call cavity fluid. So embalming fluid that's made to kill all the bacteria and solidify those hollow organs so we don't have any issues down the road. This is a trocar as well. It's slightly different in that it doesn't suck fluid out, but puts fluid back in. So in this case, we'd take a bottle of cavity fluid, we would actually twist it in and attach it to the top of the trocar, and then right through that same hole we made before, we'd go back in. All the while, gravity is actually drawing the fluid down and inserting that from the end of the tip back into all the holes we made, into the heart, into the lungs. And then you'll go around, back down into the abdomen. This is really, the lower part is where all the bacteria like to hang out. And that, my friends, is how you embalm a body.
All that damn gut.
When I embalmed my first body, it is kind of scary, kind of unnerving, because it's one of those things you have to do right the first time, and you only get one chance. So if you screw up and maybe pressure is too high and the face starts to swell and you don't see that, you've caused a problem with grandma or grandpa that you can't really fix. So attention to detail is everything.
Somebody's gonna be pissed.
Welcome to the selection room. If you have a loved one that passes away, odds are good you'll end up in a
Oh,
room.
okay. Yeah, this is morbid, but like some of these urns are actually very cute. The black and white one, they kind of just look like vases if you don't think about what they are actually for. The black and white one is cute.
Just like
Oh, give
this,
me that one.
select your funeral merchandise. When a family chooses cremation, family might want to select an urn. And these range all over the place. There are simple urns that maybe start at $100 or less. They're really fancy, maybe cast bronze ones that are hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Or
Oh, this
they're
one,
really
the one
fancy,
with the
maybe
tree is
cast
pretty.
bronze ones.
This one, the green one, the green and gold. Hey, that's fire. That's $395, $400 for the tree of life. It's called. That's very pretty, actually.
That are hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I
Or
like the
some
colors,
families just opt to use the container that comes
the
from the
color
crematory, just a
choice.
simple plastic urn. Any one of those is perfectly suitable for what a family wants to do.
Hey, if you put your family in a plastic urn, you probably they probably wouldn't just shit.
So one thing that can kind of be confusing and is often used interchangeably is the difference between a casket and a coffin. In other parts of the world, like in the UK, for instance, they have what are called coffins. So these are what we might call anthropoid shaped. So they're narrow at the top where the head is, they widen out at the shoulders, then they come back in again towards the feet. Whereas caskets are
Oh,
uniformly rectangular. In the United States,
oh, okay. I'm not in the mortuary service, so I've never thought about this. Like the whole coffin thing. I got like a coffin. I got a coffin mesh shirt, goth shit. So I know what a coffin looks like, but I never actually think of the difference between coffin and
we
casket.
use almost exclusively caskets. Caskets vary as widely as you can as the feet, whereas caskets are uniformly rectangular. In the United States, we used almost exclusively caskets.
So do they use
Caskets
coffins in the
vary as
UK?
widely as you can possibly imagine. We have very simple cardboard cloth-covered caskets that might be more suitable for a simple burial or maybe cremation. And then we have high-end caskets made from hardwoods like mahogany or cherry or even bronze caskets. Variety is really the spice of death here. Here we are in the funeral chapel. We've taken our dummy Mike, and now we're ready for his family to come and say their final goodbyes. This opening here is called a cap, and this is an example of what we call a half couch.
I wonder if he's gonna answer this question. Do they actually like just toss the body out of the casket once they like bury it? I heard somebody say that when I was little. I don't know.
Casket. So you're
They
only
probably don't. That's probably a stupid
going to
question.
see from about the midsection up. You should note every person in the casket is wearing pants, but not always shoes.
Oh,
When we
interesting.
go to close a casket, oftentimes
Put
I
these
have
out.
the deceased's family around me. There's a locking mechanism under here, and we're just going to simply pull that up. We'll open the latches here at the bottom. And then with the family, we'd all grab hold. We'd slowly lower the lid. And then we
And
say
then somebody
goodbye.
just falls on top of it.
As a last step, I'll have you come with me as we load the casket into the hearse, and we'll make our way to the cemetery. Come on.
I wonder what kind of hearses they have. Probably like some pimped out ones.
Oh, this is such a
Solid
cool
looking
one. Oh,
hearse.
look at the lights on the inside. You have a great.
Lights.
Oh, this is such a cool one. Oh,
I don't see no damn lights.
this is such a cool one. Oh, look at the lights on the inside. You have a great hearse, Sean.
He's cute. I like him.
So the vehicle behind me, some call it a hearse, some call it a coach, but in any case, it gets the deceased from point A to point B. There's some special things about a hearse. The first thing you should know is that every single one is custom built. So there's not a single company that makes hearses right off the line. Every one is made with a normal car, cut in half, extended, and totally rebuilt. You do not need a special license or anything to drive a hearse. Being built on Lincolns and Cadillacs, usually they have nice big engines, and they go well over 100 miles an hour if needed. On the back end, they normally have a vinyl top, at least in the States. That swooshy design on the back is called a Landau bar. It's kind of the quintessential mark of a hearse. It's a remnant from when they used to be coaches, so horse-drawn carriages, and the top would pull back. Today, we don't have convertible hearses, but it's a nice mark. When you see one, you know exactly what it is. So one thing you'll notice about a hearse is that the door opens really wide. So when you have 6 casket bearers, you can get nice and close before you put the casket on the rollers. And the rollers go all the way inside, so it's a nice, smooth roll into the hearse. When you get the casket in place, you're gonna take this stopper, put it just like this, and keep the casket so it doesn't go flying out of the back. When I load a hearse, I always go head first. The reason being, when you tilt the casket a little bit to get it in, then their feet are down, and if they slide towards their feet. Whereas if you flipped it around the other way, they'd be going head first, and it's awfully heavy. So always the heavy head end first, and the feet will follow. Well, why don't we try loading it up with our friend Mike? We've taken him from point A. Now let's go to point Z, and Sean is gonna help me here.
And where's the stopper? This was interesting.
I so appreciate you coming with me on this trip today through the funeral home. I hope you've learned some things and that maybe you feel a little bit more comfortable as you come with me on my life.
Huge fans of this guy. Yeah, I like him. He seems cool.